While existing cities adapt to the challenges of a changing climate, new cities are being built, with those risks of damage at the heart of the planning process. My next guest is Head of Planning at Rendeavour. It's developing 7 new urban centres across Africa. Dean Landy, welcome to Talking Business. Good to have you here. And talk to me first of all about that growing imperative to start building resilience into how we design and build our cities and towns.
The work we're doing here in Africa is built around resilience, and it's such an important aspect. It's no longer a non-negotiable that it has to be considered as a maybe, but resilience is embedded as a foundational principle in all of the work we're doing across East and West Africa. And that's social, economic and environmental resilience, which underpins all of our master planning and development to make a significant impact against climate change.
What does that mean in practice? What does resilience look like?
From an environmental perspective, when we're creating cities, it can start with something as simple as our master planning, creating compact, walkable neighbourhoods that will encourage more lifestyles around walkability and cycling with daily needs in close proximity, through to greenways and biodiversity corridors. So we're managing stormwater and anticipating flooding events. So we're building resilient cities where we're not just addressing the immediate needs now, but planning for the future. And then we look at elements around economic resilience. So we're not creating business parks or dormitory suburbs. We're creating vibrant mixed-use cities that are generating thousands of jobs already. So that in itself creates resilience because people can then live closer to work so that it's a very resilient local economy where we can be sourcing local materials and building a whole transect of jobs from key labour jobs through to senior executive, research, health, education jobs, etc., so that we have a diverse, resilient economy as well.
I mean, there's an irony here, though, isn't there, of course, that urbanisation, the building of new cities, deforestation is what's causing some of these biggest climate issues. How do you square that circle? How do you make sure that the impact that building new cities quite clearly has on the environment can be mitigated to a certain degree? And can we ever hope that we will be able to entirely mitigate the impact?
Urbanisation done poorly does have a negative impact on the environment. That's where we see sprawling development, poor planning outcomes, where we see deforestation, where we see polluting of natural waterways, removal of biodiversity corridors. But urbanisation done well, the core principles are compact urbanism, good planning controls, protecting the areas that need protecting, and where we do develop, addressing the needs of humanity, which we need space, population growth, and increased living standards and so on. So we know that if we can design, deliver and plan those well, then it means we're consuming less land to be able to provide the same level of population growth than if we would allow an informal sprawl.
Yes, and it's that informal sprawl that's the problem, isn't it? These are unofficial developments, people moving into areas that have not been zoned properly, not been planned properly. I mean, how do you mitigate that? How do you stop that happening when there is quite clearly a demand for housing?
That demand is ever present. When we look at the statistics of 800,000 or so people moving to urban settlements in Africa in the coming decades, the problem is real. And I think the part that we can play as private developers, we can lead by example, we can put all of those positive measures in place that I discussed. Obviously, it's outside of our control of how government can manage land use planning around us. But I think what we would love to see is those relationships with government persist so that there is faster approval processes and so on, so we can deliver on our housing targets. I guess it's really being able to help advocate with government to get those policies and planning controls in place. I've worked in Africa for 18 years and I have seen fairly rapid growth in the planning controls and being able to really step into the need for better urban development. So it is happening, but admittedly not happening fast enough to keep track with the real demands that are upon Africa at the moment.
Dean Landy, it's good to talk to you. Thanks for being with us this week.
Thanks for your time.